Whether on Afro-kinky hair or Afro-textured hair, braids have always been the go-to hairstyle for African women. The process in braid making that requires the most precision is parting the hair into neat, distinct cuts. After this is done, each parted section is split into 3 strands. Then the weaving begins. This process is time-consuming, but African women don't mind sitting for 4 hours and more to get their hair braided. This, however, is not the case for African women in the UK. They hardly braid their hair. One reason for this is the high costs. At Teresa's salon, a decent braid costs between £40 to £150.
I charge according to the time that I take to do anything, so it's an hourly rate.
This is an already stretched hair extension, and depending on the length of the braid, Teresa can use more than 1 pack.
You can spend £20 on hair extensions. Yes, it just depends on what you're doing. So if you were doing like jumbo hip length or thigh length, which I actually do, I do jumbo thigh length braids sometimes, you would need like 6-7 packets, and each packet is like £3.99, so you would end up spending quite a bit of money.
To save time, Teresa picks the hair extension apart, bearing in mind the size of the braid she wants to make.
The base, the foundation of the hair that you're doing is so important, and that's the parting. That's why I pre-part to make sure it's like all nice, and you know, I keep going back to the part to get it as precise as possible.
Once the hair has been nicely parted, it is smoothened and secured with a gel. Next, Teresa splits the parted sections into 3 equal strands and starts weaving the hair extension into the natural hair. This process is repeated for the rest of the parted hair sections. While the weaving is going on, Teresa keeps defining the parts with the tail comb to avoid the hair being muddled up. This waist-length braid at Teresa's salon cost £120.
The braids I did today cost £120. They are described as small, and lengthwise is waist length, so small and waist length. So those braids took 4.5 hours, 5. That's a long time.
To many Africans in the UK, £120 is a lot to spend on hair, especially when the cost is converted to their country's currency. In Nigeria, for instance, £120 is over 65,000 naira. Besides the obvious high cost of braid, Teresa believes that the pressure to blend into the Western culture is another reason Africans in the UK don't wear braids more.
I have had people that come in here and tell me, oh, it's my first time doing braids. If you go back to Africa, a lot more people are doing braids, and it's just such a standard thing. Nobody is going to tell you, oh, you've got new hair again, you've changed your hair, you change it all the time. Whereas that's what happens here when you go into the office. Everybody's like touching your hair, trying to figure out how long it takes. All these questions that they ask you, people kind of just want to avoid that and just blend in with everybody else.
The finishing touches after braiding all the parted hair requires a few more steps.
Once you finish doing the hair, you always put mousse on it, always. And then the ends of the braids you will dip into hot water. Like today's hairstyle was done curly, so what I would do is curl the ends of the braids with a curler and then dip it in hot water and then put it under the dryer to dry. If you need to do the edges, do that, and then you're good to go. Pictures obviously afterwards. Okay, so stay still. I'm taking pictures.
Regardless of the cost of braids, Teresa encourages African women to be deliberate about preserving the African culture through their hairstyles.
Be unapologetically yourself. So if you wanted to do weaves and wigs, great, but just know I want people to do these things because they want to, not because society is pressuring them to do anything. So when it comes to braids, why shouldn't you be able to do braids? Do it because you look amazing.